Balsu topondruf el pandru cuperna. Divine guidance, e forson, alocui sefer van, darawan, yufu, bandrusu.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Divine Guidance with Patricia again. This is so exciting. Oh, this is not work. This is passion and fun and energy and drive. And especially when you have guests like I have today. I have two powerhouse women with me today, and they are amazing. They're connected to the divine vibration of music and sound and arts and entertainment, and you mix it in with the pure virgin oil of politics and bring it all together and make it into a nice smoothie, a revelation, a renaissance, a divine energy of what we can create, how we can create, and who is not going to stop us in the future from creating. Welcome to the show. I have Kerry Forbes and E. Mandisa. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Hi,
It's
Patricia.
a pleasure to be here. It's an honor.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited. Like, you know, we got three powerhouse women talking over each other, but we're going to have fun. We apologize in advance, listeners. We're just really passionate about what we're going to talk about and share. So I'm going to start with E. Mandisa. E. Mandisa, what a beautiful name. Even when you say that name, you feel like there's a presence, there's an authority, there's a being there that's just waiting to get out. Tell us a little bit about yourself, will you, love?
Well, I'm going to start with E. Mandisa. It's actually a name I was given when I was a theater major at the University of Washington. I had the pleasure of my director. She's very well known in the theater community, Valerie Curtis Newton. She really thought that I needed to be connected to my culture and my ancestry. So it was really beautiful. She meditated and fasted for 10 days, and she gave 8 theater majors African names. So we went through an entire ceremony, poured libations to the ancestors. And my name, Mandisa, means sweet, and patient, and Subira means rewarded. So my name means sweet, patience, rewarded. And she told me to put the E in front of it for power. Yes. So people called me E. Mandisa, but over the last few years, people just call me E. So I feel like I'm sitting in my power with that. So I'm what they call an activist artist. I'm a singer, dancer, writer, producer, director. I'm a Renaissance woman.
Yes,
and so I use my art to affect social change, cultural change, uplift spiritually. And so I teach acting, I teach stage presence, choreography, but it's all for a purpose because my acting training comes from Japan. And, you know, in Japan, they don't mess around. Tadashi Suzuki created the acting training that I've trained in for 15 years. And his philosophy is that an artist, an actor must have strong legs in order to be connected to the earth, because that's where all truth comes from. So he's not so much into the red carpet,
Glamour.
winning awards, that type of thing. So my acting professors were the first Americans to actually go over to Japan and train with him and then bring his philosophy here. So I've taken it and made my own version of it. And so I'm creating artistic warriors.
Nice.
So when you train in Suzuki, you do physical training and you get strong as an actor.
Awesome.
So, that's just kind of me in a nutshell. I'm an energy activist artist.
There you go. So glad to have you on the planet doing your thing.
Excited to be here.
All right, Miss Kerry, tell us a little bit about yourself, darling.
I'm originally from out west. I figure I'm a bit of a nomad. I've spent most of my life traveling around not so much the world, but North America for sure. I've lived in almost all major cities in Canada.
Nice.
I am the self-professed square peg. So I
love it.
And that used to really, that used to be a really hard thing for me, but only since maybe the last decade, since I sort of turned 40.
Okay.
I've really fallen into my passion in life, and I've always been involved in theater in some capacity. Right from a very, very early age, I absolutely fell in love with theater, everything it had to do with it, all the energy that went into it. And the creativity that came from it. And it was and so I spent some time on stage. I did some acting on film and stage while I was living in Montreal and in Toronto and a bit in Vancouver. Until I had one fateful moment where I literally just lost my words on stage, and it freaked me out so badly that I just dropped it. I walked away. I thought, I can't deal with the nerves of all of this, which was really, in retrospect, was really the open door to me finding my true passion, which is really producing. I love to produce. Oh my God, if I could spend every last minute of every day until the day I'm not here on this planet, bringing people of like minds together in truly authentic ways, I would be a happy, happy camper. I am absolutely of the mind that as one shifts, so do the rest. And, that's how we change the world. I figure that's how we change each other, we change ourselves. And I have spent probably the last 15 years of my life really crafting events and productions that will offer transformative experiences. And I've only now that I'm in my 50s, have I kind of discovered where that path is going. Because up to this point, thus far, I sort of feel like I've honed all of these sort of practical spiritual skills that really have not had a place. I've always had a day job. I've always done my passion on the side if I had the time or the energy to fit it in at the end of the day. So so right now, so it kind of brings me right up to here. This has all been, prime learning ground for me to really step into a much larger role in my own life and certainly in the world. And, now, as E had said, she's an artist activist. I'm an artist activator. And I love to see the lights go on for people. Oh my God, that just fills me from the tips of my toes to the ends of my hair with satisfaction when I can actually, bring that together and see that transformation happen. So,
wow.
Yeah, so E and I met a while back and here we are, activist, activator, working together. I'm so grateful that I have found her and you. So that's pretty much me in a tidy nutshell as well.
Well, thank you both. Wow. Activator and activist. Boy, you couldn't write this stuff, could you? No, there's just no way. There's a couple of things that you ladies don't know about me. Is that I took radio and TV broadcasting at Soundstage 22 in Toronto years ago. Did nothing with it. I was the little girl that followed the music teacher into school every day, carrying his books, begging to be in Glee Club, but I wasn't old enough. And finally I got mad and I kind of let the piano key cover fall down on his fingers one day because the nice hadn't won. And then I felt so bad that I carried his books in just because I had done something really wrong. But he understood how desperate I was to get out there singing and acting and doing stuff. And so he didn't put me in Glee Club, but I got passed from grade 2 to grade 4 in the first part of that year, which put me at the right grade to be in Glee Club. And then he proceeded to tell me I wasn't old enough. I was in the right grade, but I wasn't old enough. So every day, when I could sneak out of class or get kicked out of class, I would go outside to whatever class he was teaching and I would sing to the roof until he noticed me. And needless to say, I'm pretty persistent. So in grade 4, I actually won the Kings County Scholarship for Music at a very young age. And I went on to do some other things. I did a lot of commercials and stuff that people don't know about, but that awoken in my being. And I have my own show, and that's fine, but that part of my being, and I was in bands and I sang, and that part of my being got awoken by both of you. And I just wanted to share that with you. I had that realization getting ready for the show this morning. That is the extra energy and passion that I feel around both of you. Is you've activated that in me. So thank you. So with that,
that's awesome.
It's working.
It is. So whatever it is, that is exactly the point, E. That's exactly the point. You pulled that up out of my depths. And I love to sing, and I just, there's just something that vibrates the soul. I don't care if it sounds good. It's just, if I start with a drum out on the land, walking through the forest, walking by the shore with the drum, these sounds that come out are just, they're sounds that we all carry, that we have memory of. Now, how do we get them out of other people like myself? How are you two going to work at doing that? Who would like to start? Let's go with Miss E. Let's go on about the Purple Renaissance.
The Purple Renaissance.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll read you our official definition of
no.
who
Come
we are.
on. Let's get it.
And because it helps me to kind of clarify it a little bit. So
okay, all right, we'll go with that foundation, but then I want to hear it from your heart.
Absolutely,
all right,
absolutely. Especially since you inspired me. Now I have some other stories of people we've activated lately.
I'm tough, aren't I? I'm just a little tough.
So the Purple Renaissance is a social impact initiative, and it's for creative artists and scientists. It's an incubator and a platform created to initiate a rebirth and a revolution within the industries and environments that affect and influence the lives of artists and creative people. Mm-hmm. The Purple Renaissance supports, promotes, and promotes creative artists who consider themselves to be the activists and activators of the world, and who utilize their talents and platforms to uplift, inform, activate, and inspire their communities and supporters. The Purple Renaissance strives to have a positive social impact for creative artists in the areas of education, economics, entertainment, media, culture, health and wellness, politics, and the environment. So,
before we get into that,
okay.
I want to give over to Kerry about Purple Renaissance, just what it is. Then we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll really get into the guts, the soul, the core of Purple Renaissance. Is that okay with you, ladies? All right, take it away, Kerry. Purple Renaissance. The base of Purple Renaissance and what the base is and the foundation is for your side. Okay.
Well, from my side, I think the Purple Renaissance is really it really is an incubator. It's an idea. It's a concept. It's a very, very high-minded, and I say high-minded not from an egotistical, but it's a very broad very inclusive concept. And for me, technically, when I engage with the concept of purple renaissance, it's for me, it's deconstruction. It's pulling away our arts. It's pulling away our healthcare. It's pulling away all of the systems out of the system,
Yes.
so that we can redesign, we can reimagine what arts and entertainment, what education, what economics, what environment, what health and wellness issues what do those look like away from what we've been indoctrinated to consider or to believe that they are from. So for me, it's a matter of deconstructing and pulling the differentiating between system and sovereign self. And once we are landing in sovereign self, then the world is our oyster.
That sounds powerful. It sounds like a good place to stop for now and take a momentary break. Hey, listeners, this has just begun here. We'll see you in a couple minutes. Thank you. Hi, welcome back to Divine Guidance. You know what? I think we should record some of the breaks we take in the conversations behind the scenes, because they're hilarious and fun. So they may be the new bloopers of my show. We'll see. Welcome back to Divine Guidance, and I would like to bring you back with Miss E. Mandisa and Kerry Forbes, who have some brilliant talents. And Kerry Forbes also has the Atlantic Ground Control Incorporation, her production company. And E. Mandisa is politically active and is art active. You know, I was thinking this morning, art, a real talent. And all my life, everyone said, oh, he's got real talent. Look at his art. But a real talent. I don't know where that came from or why, but it's just so
interesting.
I like
it's
that.
simple, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's come back to Miss E. Mandisa. Darling, can you share with us where purple renaissance came from?
Well, I guess you could say it was my personal journey as an activist, because being involved in politics, I went from organizing a campus unifying event to being thrust into international leadership, where I became the spiritual advisor of an international youth movement. So I was dealing with world leaders like Jesse Jackson, Minister Farrakhan, the presidents, Bush's, all these people. And so I started off at the international level of politics, then the state, then the local. And international and national politics, sexy, because you get to go to all of these. I got to go to the Essence Awards and, see The Rock and Janet Jackson and meet Congress people and just, perks, But when I got back into the local politics, I said, this is where it's at. And when they say all politics is local, that's true. But what I found was the people involved in politics and activism are so toxic. They're so absolutely toxic, because they want to change the world, but we could never get anything together in a group. Mm-hmm. So I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm going to go back fully into my art and see what I can do with my art. So there's an old Indian proverb where a sickly person comes to them, and then the Indian shaman says, well, when was the last time you danced? When was the last time you sang? So people think that in order to sing and dance and act, that you have to be Madonna. Singing and dancing and acting is a natural. It's a natural part, right? It's a natural part of our evolution. And where purple comes from is, I've been a Democrat, a Republican, and everything in between. So purple, when blue and red make purple. So that plays into it, where we're trying to, and then it's the crown chakra. So we're taking all of these things that purple means, the consciousness, the purple consciousness, and turning it into a Renaissance movement of arts and science that supports artists, because artists are the true shaman of the world. And more practically, musicians are the only people that have a win with the United States Congress, with the Music Modernization Act. 100% unanimous, they agreed to start paying people like the Beach Boys their royalties from 50 years ago. So the rest of the world looks to artists. So I felt like we needed to create something specifically for artists and deal with healthcare and economics and everything that affects us, because it affects regular society. But if the artists are the ones advocating for themselves, it's going to inspire the little league coach and the teacher that's being, or the machine worker that doesn't know how to advocate for themselves.
Right.
And then the music can bring us all together.
Mhm.
And, you know, and so I deal with it's called an initiative. So initiatives here in the United States, you have to have an initiative before it becomes a referendum, before it gets on the ballot.
Mhm.
So I'm taking artists that want to get into these city council meetings and county council meetings and school boards and affect that social change. So that's how I work with the activation and the initiation. Whereas with Kerry, she deals more with the spiritual and the healing and activating that spirit that makes you want to use your music and your arts to heal.
Let's hand it over to Kerry with that. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. That's empowering. That's pure empowerment through joy.
Yes.
Is all I can think of as you two speak. It's pure empowerment through joy, through reconnecting to your own joy.
And Archangel Zadkiel is the angel of joy, and he's purple, the violet flame.
There you go. All right, Kerry.
Well,
Let's step into your world.
It's funny because I just want to pick up on something that you said, Patricia. You had said, you know, you started this off by saying, you know, you've been kind of activated to start singing again, and for me, that's been my reality all the way along, almost all my adult life. Is I've watched people move through their fear about performing, about getting in front of an audience, or even just in front of a microphone. I've watched people, dozens, hundreds and hundreds of people at this point, move through a process of self-discovery via their creativity by, you know, stepping in front of a camera or getting into a play or starting a band or just, you know, singing karaoke at a karaoke bar. There's something about moving frequency by way of voice from your spirit with no inhibitions that starts to activate cellular stuff on the inside.
Mhm.
It starts to create this hum, this buzz, this want for it's almost like it touches a spiritual, it's not almost, it's absolutely touching you know, our intrinsic self. And once I think you start to tickle that soul self with particularly music and creativity and self-expression and that kind of thing, well, that just it's like lighting a fire that never goes out. It really doesn't.
Mhm.
And I think the process of creative expression is completely infectious. I think that once, you know, people I see it in gong baz all the time. We would do a first 20 minutes of toning, and you saw, you know, the people really hesitant because they were very aware of what their neighbor was doing, and they were very aware that, you know, their neighbor was behind them and possibly judging them, and all this raft of self-doubt and fear and, you know, self-consciousness. But, you know, 10 minutes in, they've abandoned their fear. They've completely walked away from any, absolutely, and they're toning away. And, you know, I see that in theater. I've experienced it myself. And so, yeah, for me, my part of this, the purple Renaissance equation is to just present an opportunity for folks to either, you know, have a conversation or go and see a show or, you know, plug in a piece of music or experience a new musician. that brings them to a place of a new frontier within self. That's my participation in the Purple Renaissance. And and E and I both agree that once somebody steps into their higher sense of self, the next thing most people want to do is, what do I do with this empowered self, right?
Yeah.
Where do I move in life from this empowered place? Because especially now, when you look in, when the crazy times that we're living in, we're seeing all of the opportunity to experience art and music and communion, where it's all evaporated. And so for me, I find, we can't gather. They've banned singing. Good God, they've banned singing. And there's no congregating in churches. There's no, we're living in very highly restrictive times. And if I were to put my tinfoil hat on, I would suggest that there's a reason for that. So
Yes, we would.
so we would need to. So I find the directive even more important now, to move into that place of true authority and creative expression.
Thank you. I really feel that you ladies are really on to something very powerful. And, the proof is in the pudding. I don't know if, and I'm sure you have. I mean, let's take a look at the stand that some of the Native American people are taking with their flash powwows, right? They all gather in the middle of a mall and they start drumming and they start singing their authenticity. We're here, right? And then we've seen the videos where people on a subway, one person starts singing, another one's going, and within 2 minutes and everybody's just singing and joining together. And in the streets, I believe it was in Germany or Portugal somewhere, where nobody's, you gotta stay on the street, you gotta stand your distance, but people just broke out. And I'm just seeing that the music and that frequency, like E was talking about, the frequency is more than just the art, more than just the music, more than just the spirit, more than just the soul, more than just the freedom of being a sovereign being. The music is who and what we are and where we are in this universe, on this planet, that really resonates with her own hum, her own music. There are people who have actually recorded Mother Earth's vibrations and sounds, and how it's musical. It's amazing. I mean, how many people go and sit by the ocean just for that sound of the waves? That is music. That's
Absolutely.
the ocean making its music. So this is extremely powerful. And there was something in the message that you gave about having other artists join in so that you can actually make the difference, so that you can actually take, activate, activist, put it together. It goes nowhere. Come on, people. Come forward. Talk to these people. Talk to these ladies here, because activation and activists are great, but you need people who will take the action with it. And that action is the resonance. That action is the energy. That action is the answer to many prayers. And that action is your way to finding your way. I'm just going off here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Let spirit have it. Spirit had it. There you go. I give it back to 20.
Well, we like to take things and ground it. So we're very fortunate to have the city of Shoreline, Washington, of 56,000 people actually helping us with this experiment in truth.
Yes.
So we're planning an artist Olympics with them.
Nice.
We're going to do a mini one on this very prestigious community college's campus. I sit on their performance art and filmmaking board. So we're going to have a mini artist Olympics on the campus, which will involve the psychology department against the science department. And we're going to have battles of the bands and poetry slams and things of that nature. So we're going to do that this year. And then next year, we're going to expand it into the city itself. This city really supports the arts. And in fact, the famous London Bridge Studios that produced Pearl Jam Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, and Macklemore is right here in Shoreline, Washington. So
Nice.
we've partnered with the Chamber of Commerce, the city, the school, and we're going to have this rebirth, this revolution of arts with the Purple Renaissance and the Dolphin Festival. But I would be remiss to not mention how Kerry and I met. Kerry and I actually met on Facebook in a Prince fan community.
Woohoo!
And I had the honor of actually working for Prince in the late 90s. Him and Muhammad Ali had a vision for a world healing benefit concert. So I was very instrumental in helping to create the project proposal for that. Unfortunately, politics and saboteurs got in the middle of that, so they never got to realize their dream. So that's kind of what the Purple Renaissance is helping to do with this event called the Dolphin Festival, is to finish the work of Muhammad Ali and Prince. But what we learned when we were trying to organize that in the 90s, can you imagine trying to organize a world healing benefit concert in the 90s? They tried with Live Aid, they tried with USA for Africa, and it was just a dud. So we did the research into what they did wrong, what they did right. And what we figured out is you got to build a small one. You know, got to build a small one, then expand it. So that's what we're going to be doing here in Shoreline. All of these beautiful ideas about activists and artists, we're going to build it here on the ground to ground it to the grids. And it's still going to be up in the ethers, and videotape it and hope to inspire other people to get involved with what we're doing and bring their creative juices to the project.
E, if I can ask, so how does one become part of that adventure with you?
They can, email me at info@kiamshatemple.com and, just get involved. We figure that we'll probably be able to start hitting the ground running in May when it comes to that. And we're very excited because we just got into a relationship with an internet television station that is called Culture Flix. And it's going to be in competition with Netflix, and they're looking for this kind of programming. And they already have 3 million viewers.
Okay.
So we're very excited about the partnerships that are coming to the table.
Okay. So let's get back to you and Kerry meeting in a Prince fan page. What say you, Kerry?
Well, that was 2016. I think he might have only been gone maybe a month or maybe a couple of months after we found each other. I think I'd made a comment. He made a comment back, and it was like, oh my God, there you are. Holy cow. We completely were there, this alignment happened. And it just grew so organically from there. We just started talking about, who we were and what we wanted and what Prince was about. For me personally, when he left, I was so knocked out. I've never, and I know this sounds crazy when I say it out loud, I've never mourned anyone like I mourned the loss of this man. And strangely enough, is that it wasn't, I was always a fan, but I kind of lost track of him in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then when he left, something woke up in me. And I to this day, I don't know how to articulate that, but there was such a sense of being like out of the flock. The flock was lost. And I had this sense of this man with his music and his vision. He talked for 30 years about consciousness. He guided us, in his music again and again and again about, consciousness and self-respect and frequency. He was very, very learned about frequency and how to move that through the body. And I'd gone to only saw him once live. It changed my life. It literally, I've never experienced that kind of pure, straight on joy. So when he left, I thought, oh my God, it wasn't even a thought, actually. It was a feeling that there's going to be generations of people that are not going to understand what it is that he brought to the picture, which was an opportunity, an invitation to step into your love, your pure spirit love, and
Right
experience
on.
that from yourself and in your and you know, with others. And I think it was at that point really that E and I started to go, okay, well, we got a mission here, and this is my portion of things, and I think this is your portion of things. And for me, it was really interesting that it was an intercontinental thing. I like the fact that she's in the US on the West Coast, and you know, we're up here in Canada on the East Coast. So there's really a lot of beautiful reasoning, and we got to talking, and we're grid workers, and you know, he was very much in alignment with, you know, energy and where it flows, and very much aware of grids and ley lines and all of that kind of good stuff. So it was this sort of purple soup this stew that brought us together, and purple soup. Yeah, so that's kind of my perspective on and God,
Wow.
love her. Oh my God, I can hardly wait to meet her. We've yet to meet either. We've been in a relationship now for not in person.
Oh, wow.
No.
That day is coming.
Yeah.
That day is coming.
And we've known each other for 1,000 years without a doubt. So
No doubt. Yeah.
Well,
So
and you know, the Prince fan community, very toxic too. And we saw that the band members, everybody's focused on the music. Everybody's focused on the music. He was focused on the activism. I don't think people really appreciate the sovereignty that Prince gave to musicians. He's the reason we have parental guidance stickers on our music.
Yep.
Tipper Gore took him to court because of Darling Nikki on the Purple Rain album. The things that his record label put him through, and you know, this tiny little man was such a big, like, I'm standing up for artist rights. He always wanted us had to have the fruits of our own labor and get the middleman out of there. And I just didn't, I know most of the proteges, the ex-wives, and I didn't see any of them doing his activism, which I really thought what he felt that's what his legacy was. Yeah. So that's kind of what Kerry and I both were like, these people are crazy. You know, they're busy talking about how sexy he is. We want to talk about why he was here, so that we can focus on why we're here, you know, and just be a living part of his legacy.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, we know that I get clearly that you both understand why Prince was here. Why are you here? Because you're obviously not here just to continue on somebody else's work.
Right.
I'm not going to let that lie. That's
yeah.
Right. So, this is Trish, and we're not going to fly there. So why are you two? Yeah, you're picking up from that, but what is it that you two are bringing together that has not been here, that is going to encourage, enlighten, and empower everything on this planet with music and sound and vibration and frequency and love? What is it that Kerry and E are bringing to the table? And that's what I want to know.
Well, Prince named me Eos, which is the goddess of the dawn. And because I was raised in Montana, in a Native American family in an all-white community, I feel that I am the physical manifestation and this conduit for unity, to be able to understand the hearts and minds of people. I've changed so many people's hearts and minds about Black people. I've changed so many people's hearts and minds about white people. I've changed so many people's hearts and minds about people, about life, about energy. And so I feel that I'm here as a grid worker just to stand in this space of unity and love and vibrate from my heart chakra, because I know scientifically that the heart radiates, its circumference goes way out 80, 90, thousands of feet if you just focus on that vibration. And I've had the pleasure of being high up in politics and high up in entertainment, and to be able to be in those worlds and influence those people and get them to understand their influence on the people that are looking to them, because their light shines so brightly. When your light shines so brightly, there's a responsibility in that I don't think like Kerry said, we're deconstructing that, and then re-emerging, what your light means and why it's shining.
Yep.
Awesome answer. Kerry,
Yeah.
what about you,
Well,
love?
just picking up on that. I mean, I feel like my own personal mission is to provide the opportunities for people to come together. It's really simple for me. It's providing as many unique invitations for people to step out of their comfort zone and into something that really resonates with them. Might give them a little fear along the way, because that happens when we all step out of our comfort zone. But I feel like my gig, especially in context with E, is to be the hub, if you will. I'm creating a hub of conversation, of connections for the activists, the artists, the activated, the activators, and the curious. I want to create a space where people can come and experience all variations of activated people. I want stories, I want experiences that help, the curious come out of themselves. I want to offer opportunities, all through music, mostly through music, because that's kind of my bailiwick. But gatherings of intense authenticity, so that people can wake up, and then we go, okay, now that you're awake, what are we going to do with your beautiful gifts? How are we going to pull you out of this sleepy ancient system so that you can find your sovereign voice and bring your highest potential to this party? That's what I feel like my gig, and how E and I align here is I see the very very symbiotic relationship between the artist and the activist, because you really can't be an activist unless you're activated to do something until you've stepped into your power center. So I think for me, there's just a beautiful seamless flow between the two, and I so look forward to creating live opportunities for gathering. And the Dolphin Festival being the pinnacle experience of music, concert, connection, but in a whole new way, with a whole, very new energy, lots of high frequency, and just a lot of consciousness, a conscious concert. Oh boy, would I ever love to produce a conscious concert. Where
Awesome.
where everyone there knows why they're there, and everyone is understanding that the music and the frequencies that they're receiving is actually healing them at a cellular level. Can you imagine how out of this world it would be to go to a concert of 10,000 people, all there, consciously aware of what's going on? It'd be amazing. Amazing. So that's where I'm going. Terrified? Yes. Paralyzed by the idea and the bigness of it? Absolutely. Going forward with it anyway? Absolutely. So
what does Spirit tell us all that are conscious? If you're not sitting on the edge, you're taking up too much space, maybe.
I love
that.
Well, just keep that going, right?
That's awesome.
Now, there is a show. There is a blog radio show. I believe it's hosted by you, E, and I believe that Kerry's involved in that with you. Could you give us a little information on that, please?
Yes, it's called the Mandisa Effect, and it's on Blog Talk Radio. And I call it interactive radio. So we do like 2-hour shows where we cover a subject, and then people go back and they study the show, and then we come back and have conversations about the training and the guests and things of that nature. So it's pretty exciting. Our last show, we had my niece on there. She just dropped an album. So that's kind of the service that we do. We had her on there talking about her empowerment. And so she was an example of one of our Purple Renaissance artists that we're promoting and putting out there, because she's very grounded in being independent and sovereign.
How old is she?
She's 22.
Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
and so on it.
Created her own album at 22.
Yeah.
Fantabulous. What type of genre is she in?
R&B, it's kind of got an R&B jazzy hip hop kind, and her name is Jazzy. So
Oh, there you go.
R&B jazzy kind of thing. Very powerful, very into women empowerment. Very,
Nice.
very in. And she's an activist. So
Wow. She
yeah,
seems to be related to
a little
you.
bit. You think?
Close.
Yeah, my sister's very angry with me.
All right. So, other than the blog talk, is there anything in the future coming up where you two could get together and perhaps put a class together, to help some? Because a lot of work is being done online, so put some sort of class together where you can have people from all over the world coming in and chatting with you, and being activated, and being encouraged and empowered, and maybe also sharing some of their beauty that we don't know about or you don't know about with you. So would that be something that's you're looking towards doing, or?
Oh, absolutely. We actually went and the city is talking about giving us free studio space. And so we should be we should be set up and ready to receive probably end of March, beginning of April. And we'll be producing webinars and seminars and things of that nature. And because we're connected to the community college, they're going to be doing high-tech filming and production. So anybody that comes to the table is getting A+ service.
So is this only out of America, or would you be able to open it up a little bit
That's
wider?
the plan. That's the plan. That's why we're working with Kerry is
Okay.
to get that Canadian connection together. In fact, I'm trying to get out to see y'all, get up to see y'all this summer.
Yeah, well, we will be having some gatherings here at the property that you might be interested
Woo,
in.
yeah, sign me up.
Big stuff going on up here. So cool. All right, Kerry. So in Canada,
Yes.
in Canada, the vibration for all of this, it seems like there's a lot going on with Miss E down in the States, and she's got a lot of people gathered around here. What are your resources here in Canada? Who's helping you? Who's supporting you in this area? And who's bringing it home to you?
Well, you know what? I don't know. That's a very good question. Thus far, it's just me. My main focus these days has been to sort of renovate the Activation Sessions website so that it will operate as I hope and see it operating.
Okay, what is the activation session?
Well, you know what? It's its own thing. It seems to have its own life and consciousness of itself that I keep going, what would you like for me to do with you now? So it has sort of morphed over the years, but mainly it's a production vehicle, and it's a production vehicle for specifically activating high frequency events for me to do events through. But what it wants me to do with it is to create a true hub where people can come and find each other. And like you, I think you just mentioned that there's people are waking up, very quickly now, and they're also coming in with a lot of interesting ideas and concepts that I would like to tap, that I'd like to give them a space, a gathering space for them to start to move out with their own awarenesses. And so that's what I'm working on now. So I will be at some point in the very near future, probably before the 21st of March, be putting out a call for activators who would like to come and participate in a community. And we will be building a community very specifically around the initiatives of the Purple Renaissance, and really trying to create a sovereign voice and a sovereign experience and some sovereign systems outside of what we know to be the norm. So that's where I'm going now.
Fantastic. Let's get her going. Y'all heard that? The contact information for both these ladies is on the screen with their name throughout the show. And it's also on the information for this show on Transformational Talk Radio Network page. My page, Divine Guidance with Patricia. So with that time, whoa.
Yeah.
We're coming down to about 3 minutes. So what I would like to do is say thank you, everybody, for tuning into my show, and sharing the platform with these two beautiful ladies has been an honor. And I will see you next time on my show, where I don't know, I could have whoever. You never know. Got to tune in. All right. So I'm going to leave you both. If you could both give one message about what you're doing or about the world in general, what would it be? And 1, 2, 3, E. Mandisa. Beautiful.
Love wins.
Yes.
Perfect. Yes, we all agree. Yes. Well said. And Kerry.
I'm going with that. Love wins, and our fear is usually equivalent to our potential.
Wow.
So big fear equals big potential.
Yes.
So that's where I land with that.
That's beautiful. I love that. So we have we've got about 2 minutes left, maybe 1. But how shall we end this show? Shall we end this show with maybe, I don't know, a little bit of humming, a little bit of strumming, a little bit of singing, a little bit of vibration?
Sounds good to me.
All right, lead the way, ladies. I'll join in like a sore dog. I'll join. Thank you, everybody, for being here and listening to the show. We're going to take you out with some Purple Rain or something. There you go.
Welcome to the dawn, you know.
There you go.
How about don't stop till the sun rise, listen to the pouring rain. Don't worry about tomorrow, forget about your pain. Be glad that you are free to change your mind.
Are you singing too?
Free to go most anywhere, anytime.
Come on, Kerry. Give me something. A hum, a drum, or something.
I'm humming.
I want to hear it. Let's go. Woohoo! Bring that
one. Who's not?
Here we go.
Be glad for what you have and what you got.
Hey!
That's what you got.
That's what you've got. That's what you got.
And we're free to be.
It's so much fun. You know, every continent, every indigenous First Nations people sing their own and dance their own song lines, their own prayers, their own messages. And you said that at the beginning of the show. So thank you to all of them who have continuously danced and drummed and sang the song lines of this beautiful planet that gives so much to all of us. And it's time to gather, create, connect, and take the action we've all been dreaming of taking. So hopefully the world will start changing with a hum.
Yes, it will.
Welcome to the dawn.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.